Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final day of our Hack Days series this year. I have a new guest with me. Welcome, Kamil.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone who's watching and will be watching later? What are you going to do with us today? But first and foremost, who are you?
So I'm Kamil, and I would say mostly I would define myself as an idea person, as a product guy, as an entrepreneur. So I tried a lot of crazy things, some worked, some didn't. And I also help other people and companies to come up with new ideas, create new ideas as an Agile Coach, innovation facilitator. And in the recent years, I discovered a blind spot in this whole area, which is more about how we function as humans, how our inner software works. And I think this is like one of the biggest chances right now to really understand who we are and what our biases are for innovation and change, and to really manage this consciously, right? And this is what I bring here, and this is what I want to show everybody, to maybe make your work and your life a little bit more full of consciousness and full of change and innovation in the right direction, I hope.
That sounds like a good plan. I'm very curious. I'm looking forward. I'll be going onto the couch and having my breakfast while I listen to you. I'm looking forward to learning something about myself and something new about emotional intelligence and consciousness. Hard word. So the stage is yours. Enjoy, everyone.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so this is our topic, our own inner software and how to hack it or how to understand it and how to use it based on mindfulness and emotional intelligence. And I brought a framework to you which is coming out of the tech world. So we also have the context to the world we are right now in. But before we start, we just want to do a little arrival practice. So I invite you to try this out, because we have this great tool in our head, our mind. And it's wonderful, you know, to analyze things, to write code, to come up with new ideas. But sometimes it does things that are not beneficial. And one thing is that it tends to wander off in the future or in the past. So we want to be here, we want to listen, but our mind is thinking about what comes next, or what happened this morning, what happened at breakfast, and so on and so on. And in this little exercise, we just try to arrive here and be a little bit more present, and we use the tool of our breath for that. Because we can only breathe in the present moment, right? We can't breathe in the future or in the past. So for that, I invite you to find a comfortable position, either standing or sitting, and maybe straighten your back a little bit. And then we just take 3 big, deep breaths together. So you can also close your eyes or just put them in a nice, slow focus in front of you on the floor. And then just follow me with the breathing. So I invite you now to take a big, deep in-breath through the nose. And a long out-breath through the mouth. In-breath through the nose. And out through the mouth. And the last big inhale through the nose. And out through the mouth. And now you can come back to your regular breathing through the nose and just try to keep your focus on the sensation of breathing. You don't have to change anything. Just try to follow your breath for a couple of moments. And for ending this little practice, I invite you again to take a full deep breath. And then you can come back with your attention slowly to the room, to the screen. And yeah, keep on listening to my words, maybe with the same attention that you had for your breath a moment ago. Thank you. Okay. And here it is on this picture, the most complex structure discovered in the universe so far, the human brain. And it is said that there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on planet Earth. And it's also said that in our brain, there are more neurons and connections between the neurons than stars in the universe. And this all in 1.5 kilograms between our shoulders. And you can imagine a little bit our brain and the connection and the processes with our body as the most complex software and hardware system you can ever imagine. And one tricky point with all of this is that we didn't get a guide, or we didn't have a documentation for this software, and we have to work with it all of our life. And you know, kind of it goes good and we can do the things that we do, but sometimes it really can cause trouble and problems when we don't know how to handle this tool. And this is just a glimpse in how this brain works, how our mind works, and how we can use it beneficially. And to better understand what problems come out with not understanding this mind, this great tool, it's good to know how it evolved. And in the 2 million years of the history of human species that we know so far, most of the time we were outside in small family tribes as hunters and gatherers. So we were walking around between 10 and 12 kilometers each day. We were working and acting in a community, and we are trying to find food, we are trying to find security, and we are trying really to also live a fulfilled life in this manner. And in this kind of living, there were also long distances and long periods of time where we weren't doing anything at all. We were just walking, we were just being silent, we were just enjoying community and not always being on and always doing something like in these days. And comparing the time our mind evolved in to the time that we are now in, you can maybe see that this is a really radical change of environment. So let's say in the last 20 to 30 years, especially with mobile phones coming up and more information facing our mind and our awareness, with the whole VUCA world, volatile, complex, uncertain, ambiguity, there is so much coming into our attention, onto our mind, that it's really hard for this mind to work as it's used to with all the evolutionary mechanisms that evolved there. And this, of course, especially now with COVID and being at home and being even more isolated in this time, this causes different kind of problems for us. Mental health issues, focus issues, and also kind of maybe, looking for purpose and not really fitting in and asking ourselves, where is our place right now? And I brought to you now a few statistics that show how this phenomena emerge right now in our world. And the first one is about our attention and what consequences the surrounding has on our attention. And I have a question for you before we go into this data. How much do you think our mind wanders off with the attention when we want to be present in a moment? So what do you think is the average time mind wandering we have in our daily life? You can just think about some percent numbers here. And I give you a second to just come up with your own ideas before I tell you what the statistics say. And there was research done in 2010, so quite long time ago compared to the changes we are facing here. And there were over 300,000 people that got an app, and they got notifications between the day where they were asked, what are you doing right now? And what are you thinking about? And in this study came out that 47% of our time we spend with mind wandering. That means we want to do something, we are talking with people, maybe we are working, we are enjoying food, but our mind is somewhere completely else. And bringing this to the business world, it's also said that 70% of the time leaders are in meetings, they report they are not attentive. So either you're a leader and somebody comes to you with something important and you can't really listen to them because your attention is somewhere else, or you want to show your idea or your problems to somebody that's in a leadership position, and they don't really listen. And this can even go further to more mental health issues. And here are a few numbers that are very up to date from 2020 and 2021. And it said that 42% of all employees feel emotionally exhausted right now. And also 76% of all employees feel symptoms of burnout and symptoms that, you know, they can't live up and work up to their full potential. And I also researched a little bit more on the developer world, software developers and IT world, and also here's a survey from Stack Overflow that says that 22% of all developers report some kind of mental health issues, like anxiety and emotional disorder, and also other things like that that are really getting more and more serious. And if you look at research about what this does to also software development and the work we do, you can see here that, you know, if you're unhappy and developing software, it has a bad effect on the work that we provide at the end. So the cognitive performance, the motivation, the productivity, and also work with through. And the big question is now, what can we do and what can help us with all these issues that I showed you here? And there was one guy called Meng, one of the earliest Google engineers. So he was responsible for developing Google mobile search. He was like one of the stars there. He retired with 45 from Google and got nominated for 8 Peace Nobel Prizes. So a guy that also did more than just hanging around there. And in 2007, he also discovered already all the issues with attention, with mental health. And he came up with a program that tackled these issues at Google. And it was very, very successful. He gathered all the experts from mindfulness, emotional intelligence all around the world. And later on, this program was spinned out of Google and formed like a new non-profit organization that brought this kind of tools to other tech companies in Silicon Valley. And this is the program and the tools that I want to show you today, because they are made for tech teams, they are made for innovation teams. And for me personally, coming from this scene, it was an eye-opener that you can really connect these topics of emotionality, mindfulness, with being successful in the tech world. And this program is called Search Inside Yourself. And here you see the 3 main pillars of this program, which is emotional intelligence, neuroscience, and mindfulness. And all of these pillars are packed into a program for teaching the skills. And the main benefit of that is higher productivity, better leadership, self-leadership, and also well-being and resilience. And this is where we will dig in now. And this is also what companies like Salesforce, Facebook, also SAP in Germany are really cultivating in the whole culture for being more effective and feeling better at work, actually. And the first step to go into this program has really a lot to do with our attention management. And as you saw before, almost 50% of the time we are not really present in the moment, and we are on autopilot. That means we are doing things without actually, being aware what we are doing. So it's like a lot of small programs and apps are running in the background in our subconsciousness, and we are doing them because we are just used to do them. And not all of them are good ones. I mean, autopilot isn't always bad. For example, when you're driving a car, it's good not to think, how to steer the wheel and how to push the pedals, because you want to have a look on what's going on in the street. But when you're, for example, solving complex issues or you're in a conflict situation, it's really, really beneficial to be aware 100%. And the first step is going away from this autopilot to just being aware in the moment. Because if you can focus your attention on the things you want to focus it, then you can also work on your behavior and also on dynamics in teams, for example. And here a little bit on neuroscience. I don't want to dig deeper on that, but this is a really important topic in this whole Search Inside Yourself program, because you can these days put people in fMRI brain scanners and see what happens when you do, for example, mindfulness exercises. And here you see different brain regions that are connected to different attention mechanics in our brain. And the blue zones are the so-called default mode network, and they are activated when your mind is wandering and you're not present and not focused. And the red zones are the direct attention network. They have the executive function, are more located in the frontal, prefrontal cortex in our brain, and they help us to steer our attention. And the good thing is that there is something in our brain called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is the phenomenon that whatever you focus your attention on, whatever you think, and whatever you do really shapes the structure and the functioning of your brain. And you can scan that in these scanners. And that means that if we, for example, train our attention to be in one point, or train our attention to, be conscious about everything that happens at once, then these brain regions will grow and will become stronger. And it always starts with attention first. And this is what we will do now. We will train our attention, or I will show you an exercise how to train the attention. And training attention is very much connected to mindfulness, like the basic pillar. And mindfulness you can call being aware, putting your attention where you want to put it and not where your mind just wanders itself on autopilot. And one analogy that I really like about that is this one, and maybe some people of you know it, some Windows users back from the days, and this is the hard disk defragmentation process. And you can imagine a little bit your attention and your mind like this hard disk here, with all these little squares being emotions, thoughts, sensations from the environment, and so on and so on. And the more information and emotions and everything come to you, the more fragmented your attention is and your inner hard drive is. And from time to time, it really makes sense to go through this defragmentation process for yourself and to really beautifully structure these emotions and thoughts and all the sensations so you can see them more clearly, you can be more calm, and also see what's important right now in the moment. And you can do it in two ways. And I know yesterday you had, I think, yoga, and the day before you had meditation. And this was more like the dedicated practice in the gym. You're doing something 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you're training your attention, or you're training your body and your attention. And the other way, it's called in the moment, integrated. And this is what we will try. And the integrated practices, they are practices that you will do without have to dedicate specific time or specific longer practice. You can do them while everybody is around you, while you are in a meeting, and nobody will really see that you do them, right? And I really love these ones because you don't have to make up your schedule to fit in something else, because also mindfulness can be stressful, right, if you have a full schedule, right? So, and this is our practice that we will try right now. And this is one of many micro practices in this Search Inside Yourself program, and it's called 3 breaths. And in a bit, we will take 3 breaths together. And on the first breath, I would invite you to focus your attention on your breathing. In the second breath, I would invite you to relax your body. And this works best while you're breathing out. And on the third breath, ask yourself silently, what's important right now? And for this question, it's not about coming up with an answer to that. It's just asking these questions and just seeing what comes up naturally. Maybe nothing comes up, that's also fine. Okay? Do we want to try it? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, great. So maybe you can sit a little bit more straight if you can. And yeah, just follow my instructions, and later on you can do it by yourself. So let's take a first breath in and out and focus our attention on the breath. Second breath, relax your body. And third breath, ask yourself what's important right now. And we do it another time. First breath, attention on your breathing. Second breath, relax your body. And third breath, what's important right now? And now you can try it for yourself without me giving you instructions. Okay. Thank you very much. That was all. And that was already a little bit more than you need for this micro practice, because actually you just need these 3 breaths. And you can also do this exercise without a specific position, without closing your eyes. You can just sit now on your chair and also do it while I'm talking, for example, if you want to refocus. And you can also do it in a hangout, or you can also do it in a meeting when you feel that, you know, my awareness is slipping off and my focus is not there anymore, just doing this exercise without anybody noticing. I, for example, like to do it when I go from meeting to meeting to have a transition time, or when I quit working and go into private mode, just to, you know, focus again on what's important and arrive in the moment. And yeah, you can think for yourself, where are moments for you in your daily life and work where you could integrate such a small micro practice? Maybe in the same examples that I told you, but maybe you have other examples where you think this would fit in. For example, before going to a difficult conversation is something that I hear a lot here. Yes, and maybe you already felt with the 3 breaths that something changed in your focus. And what I want to give you as last words for that is that it doesn't always have to start with, you know, you doing each morning meditation or doing each morning yoga practice. It can be 3 breaths in a day. It can be only 1 breath when you feel that something, you know, stress is coming up or you're not focused anymore. And this is a perfect start to step into other things and into more exercises when you feel this is beneficial for you. For me it was, and I hope you enjoyed this little exercise here. And I have also a suggestion for you if you're interested into these methods and want to bring them into your life and also into your work and your team. So we are piloting an SIY program at REWE Digital this year. So it means it's like 2 or 3 days, depending if you do it virtually or we do it on place. And there we have about 20, 25 little micro practices like this one that you did, but also longer ones. And it's all about self-leadership, leadership, also resilience, and in the end, well-being at work and at life. And you can contact people development if you want to do that. You can contact me with questions. You see all my contact details. So I'm working already with REWE Digital, but I'm an external freelancer right now. And yeah, just feel free to work on this topic for yourself. And I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thanks, Kamil, for the presentation. I learned a lot. It was super fun. I think I'm an outlier. I'm probably at like 85% wandering off in my mind. People call me squirrel sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And the study was from 2010, you know, so many things happened since.
True, true. No, but it's super interesting. I'll be checking out the program. Thanks so much for being with us. And we'll be back with check-in at 9:15, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.